want to thank all of you. I mean, you can't believe how happy I am to be here. To actually be able to thank you for what you're doing for my grandson and all the children of St. Jude. I now do a lot of fundraising for St. Jude, and I know how hard it is. And when I walked in, I looked at the check and I went, whoa. I'm very, very impressed. I know you all probably know a lot about St. Jude. You've seen the commercials. You know that no family ever pays for anything, what they do, how they freely share all their research. I'm going to tell you the more personal side of St. Jude. My grandson, Christian, was diagnosed with a malignant brain tumor slightly before his second birthday. He never presented as a brain tumor. He was a little slow to talk, a little slow to walk, and my daughter took him to 3 different doctors, and they said, he's a boy, global delays, kind of thing. Nothing was really out of order. She got a call one day at work, she's a teacher, that something was wrong. They took him to the local hospital. They live out on Long Island. The doctor, took him to the doctor's office. He took one look, sent him to the local hospital. They did a scan, and he had a tumor about the size of a plum at the base of his brain. They immediately transferred him to Long Island Jewish, the Children's Hospital, and he had surgery the next day. And I'll tell you, we were very lucky because we really didn't know how serious everything was at that time. But we found out after the surgery, which really was a blessing. And I remember that night, they had him in the intensive care in a big open area, kind of in the middle of the floor. And we thought they just didn't have enough beds. He was so critical at the time. They wanted a place that if they had to move him quickly or had to come in and do surgery on spot, they had the room. So we didn't find that out for several days, thank goodness. But about 3 weeks into the process, we sent all his biopsies out because they told us it was benign. And we still wanted to do more research, and we sent him out about 5:30 on a Friday evening, because news like this never comes on Monday morning when you have the whole week ahead of you. My son-in-law got a phone call from the head pathologist at Johns Hopkins and said, it's malignant, he needs treatment now. This is Friday night. Greg got on the phone with St. Jude and just happened to get Dr. Kajar, who was the head of the brain tumor unit, who spent a little over 2 hours on the phone with him, asking what had been done, all the tests and everything. And he said, the doctor said to him, he said, he said, talk it over with your family, call me back tomorrow, but I think we can help your son. He said, if you want, you can bring him down here and we'll do some further testing. And at that time, Kim was at the hospital with Christian that night. Greg and I were sitting at the kitchen table. And I remember saying to him, I said, it's not my decision, but St. Jude only treats children. It was decided Saturday morning, that's where they were going. I cleaned and packed the car. Sunday, Greg left in the car, and on Monday morning, I put Kim and Christian on an airplane to Memphis. And believe it or not, it's like 3.5 weeks now, that was the hardest part for me. I turned off the water heater. And I thought, now what? Now what? Well, they went down, and fortunately they said, we got down there and they said, yes, we can help you. Christian was the 13th child treated with proton radiation for a brain tumor. And this is only a little less than 10 years ago. This is how far they've come. At that time, there were only 3 places in the United States that even had proton radiation. And what St. Jude did was gave him high-dose chemo for about 6 months, just to give him a little more time before they did the radiation. And if there were any cells in his body, they figured they'd get rid of all the cancer, and then they would do the proton radiation. Well, April 19th, it will be our 10-year anniversary of Christian being tumor and cancer free. He's got a few glitches, I will admit it. The poor child had brain surgery and chemo and radiation before he was 2. But he's great. He's in the middle school now. He has friends. He's doing Boy Scouts. And he's really pretty normal. You'd think he'd be the most spoiled child in the world, and it's hard not to. But he's a great, great kid, and we are so blessed. And it's because of St. Jude, but mainly people like you that support St. Jude. Because it's an amazing place, and I really, really thank you.
David.
Good boy. Take a crack at this one.
She goes in to hold his hand, and she tries not to cry as the tears fill her eyes. Can you hear me? Am I getting through tonight? Can you see? Can you make it feel alright? You can hear me. Let me take his place somehow. See, he's not just anyone. He's my son. Sometimes late at night I watch him sleep and dream of the boy he'd like to be. I try to be strong and see him through. God, who he needs right now is you. Let him grow old. Live life without this fear. What would I be? Living without him here. He's so tired. Can he scare me? Am I getting through tonight? Can you see me?
Thanks for helping out, Luke.
Can you make it feel alright? You can hear me. Let me take his place somehow. See, he's not just anyone. He's my son. Can you hear me? Can you see? Please don't leave. He's my son.
Chris, next to him is our secretary. The big guy in the back is Dave, he's our treasurer. And you've already met Gene, our special events chairman.
Yes.
First, I'd like to say that you have an amazing family.
Oh, thank you.
Thank God St. Jude's and Christian can have a success story that you have so far. And it's people like you that make people like us want to do what we do. It's great to hear success stories, and that's what we're hoping for, that this can add to that.
Makes a
So
difference.
on behalf of the executive board and all these wonderful men and women of our club that go out and do all the hard work so that we can do things like this, we'd like to present you with a check.
Thank you. Thank you. It's not often that we can make a difference. You're making a difference. Thank
That's what we're
you.
hoping for.
Thank you. Thank you. Can I get a picture with all of you up here with the check? So I
Absolutely.
want to send it to St. Jude.
Want to get everybody in it?
Yeah.
Let's go, guys. Everybody in the picture.